Welcome back, everybody, to Turkey Talk, brought to you by Wild Faith Podcast. My name is Evan Bungham. I have my co-host Luke Timmons with me here today, and we are one day closer to turkey season. Luke, how are you doing today?
Good. Weather lately has been warm.
It's springish.
Yeah, for end of February with no more snow on the ground, and we've been right around that mid 40s, low 50s mark lately. So.
And I would have to think that southeastern Minnesota's probably still a couple weeks ahead that we're at here in central Minnesota, and things are probably even nicer down there because we've got snow melting here, and it's getting me excited.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's no snow down here left.
Nice.
So it's we'll see. Fingers crossed we don't get one of those late March snowstorms, but it definitely feels like turkey hunting weather.
There's definitely a chance, and this is the funny time now. It's like we get into this wet, muddy, gross kind of season where you start to do spring cleaning, and for all you dog owners out there, this is the time that hopefully you kept up on picking up poop in the snow and stuff, and you got to go out in the yard and pick up all the crap that's laying around. So
yeah, right.
Fun times. I'm ready for warm weather. That's all I know.
Yep. Yeah, the other tough part too is like if you take your dog out, you're gonna give him a bath at night.
Yep.
Because it's a mud hole.
Yep. And so today, guys, we wanted to kind of talk about what our gear list is and kind of what kit we bring out with us each and every day out in the turkey woods, and just some basic items that, I really think that I couldn't live without when I'm out turkey hunting. So Luke, I'm going to kind of go with you first. So just kind of list off or rattle off some of the items that we'll throw the situation out that you're running and gunning, private or public land. Like, what are some items that you can't leave the truck without?
Well, turkey calls for one.
That's a big one.
A little bit of a mix of, whatever mouth calls I have. Got my slate call, got my box call. Shotgun. It's a big one if I'm shotgunning.
Yep, that's a big one.
Otherwise the bow, but
bird watcher.
Yeah, just taking pictures. But if I'm running and gunning, I do like to try and maybe bring a decoy or two, just to have something. Kind of can be a pain to try and fit it and strap it in somewhere, but it is nice to have on hand. The other thing too, especially with bow hunting, I always got my vinyl harness on with, just probably some 10x42s and, my rangefinder, just constantly, like I said, especially with bow hunting, I'm constantly, this goes to deer hunting too, but constantly like ranging trees or, pinpointing spots in the woods or wherever where I'm okay, that tree's 25 yards, that tree's 40 yards, etc. Just so I know, like when it comes time to shoot, I don't have to be messing with my rangefinder. I know which, based off what I'm trying to do before the hunt actually kicks off. Boots, big one. If it's like now time where everything's muddy, throw on a good pair of rubber boots. Otherwise, if I'm like South Dakota, putting on more of a hiking boot or shoe where I got some more ankle support and really can move around and stuff. And then a big one, especially kind of late season where it's a lot warmer out, bug spray, maybe throwing a Thermacell in the bag.
Tick repellent.
Yeah, I was going to say, it helps to, what's the word I'm looking for? A coat or treat, whatever, you want to call it, but treat your clothes with some of that Promethean. So not dealing with ticks, cause they can be, some years it's not too bad. Some years it's just tick mania, but, and then a good charged up phone, especially if I'm running and gunning and pulling up Onyx and, pinpointing things. So I don't think I left out anything too key. Obviously camo, but kind of goes without saying.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I would say the Promethean is a huge one. And fun fact that like Todd County where we live in, or Crow Wing County where we're by here, I think technically we're in Crow Wing County, but we're surrounded by Todd and a couple other ones. We're actually two of the worst counties in the nation for ticks, which is terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing like walking through a tick nest. If you've ever walked through one of those and all of a sudden you've got hundreds of little baby ticks on your leg.
Never done that. And
Not fun.
Yeah. But, I'm really OCD about ticks. I I had one time I had not found one, and like it was like I don't know what it was. Ended up being it wasn't latched on long enough, but I had that almost like that
Mm-hmm.
target,
Yep.
bullseye, and never. I'm fine. Don't have Lyme's disease or nothing. But ever since then, I've just been like, as soon as I get home, strip everything completely off, wash, get all the clothes, wash them up,
Oh
and
yeah.
then just like with a magnifying glass going over every, because like like even up in the boundary waters too, like getting back, you can find them between your toes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they'll dig in anywhere, but yeah.
They're like roaches that just don't die. I mean, like
Mhm.
we've been lucky the last couple of years that we've had really dry because they like wet environments like that combination, but we had really dry springs where we didn't
Mhm.
get them so bad, but like man, they are resilient. We could go through having a dry patch and all of a sudden we get a little bit of some wet coming in for maybe a week or two, and then they're back, and then another dry spell and they're gone, and then yeah, they never go away. So I always be prepared for ticks
Oh
because
yeah.
man, not a fun disease to get.
No, no, not at all. But how about you? What are you running in your
Yeah,
best?
so I mean, I'll just kind of work from it top to bottom. And I'm a hat guy. I'm always wearing a hat, stocking cap, ball cap, something like that. Face paint. I've been a face paint goer probably my whole life. It's kind of superstitious where it's like I feel like the hunts that don't go well and I didn't wear face paint, I blame it on that.
Yep.
But for me as well, like I always got a face mask on just because the more concealed you can be for turkey hunting, the better.
Sure.
And kind of breaking it down from there. Got a bino harness similar to you.
Hmm.
My bino harness is always rigged out. Like I always have a Leatherman's in there. I've got an extra tab if I'm shooting my trad bow. Typically have extra calls in there. That's usually where I stash my mouth calls on the side there. I've got my
Hmm.
rangefinder. I've got my optics. I always bring in extra microfiber cloths and bringing extra cleaning cloths like the Zeiss ones that you can get from Walmart. Kind of working out from there. I've got my turkey vest. That is kind of a new tool I've worn for the last probably 2 or 3 years now, and I would say it's an essential kit item for
Hmm.
myself. Breaking it down inside there, I've got saws, I've got clippers, I've got my turkey calls. I usually bring 2 or 3 slate calls, one ceramic call, usually a glass call, and a typical slate. Got my box calls, extra strikers in there. I always make sure I've got extra sandpaper and steel wool so I can work up my slate calls and my strikers if I need to be. I've got extra chalk for my box call. Usually, if it depends on if I'm going with my bow or if I'm going with a shotgun, I'll have an extra release because you can never, it always happens sometimes where you
Hmm.
forget a release. And nice thing is I got a waterproof pouch on my particular vest I have from Night and Hail, and I keep all my shells in there. In the back, I've got a water bladder back in there. I've got a 3 liter water bladder I'll bring with me. That's where I keep all my camera gear if I need to be. And then I also have I want to say it's a Montana decoy. It's a flip out strutter. So if I ever get in a situation where I've thrown everything at a turkey and I just, last day of a hunt, I'll try and go reap that bird or something where that's just an extra little tool to have if you're in a pinch and you don't have a decoys with you, that it might make the extra difference just in the bag of tricks.
Yep.
Trying to think what else do I have in my turkey vest. I obviously got my seated pad, which is super nice because that one's got memory foam into it, so it's super comfy. I use it versatility, or if you're, that's not a word. I use it. It's very versatile because I'll take that off in the fall time and use that as my knee support on my tree saddle. So I
Mm.
got to get that back in my turkey vest. But other kit items, I usually keep extra pair of stakes for decoys if I'm running decoys because we've all left a turkey stake in the ground and forgot about it.
Oh, sure.
Um, Usually keep like an extra base layer of something of some sorts in there, or an actual like pullover vest or something like that.
Hmm.
And then kind of breaking it down from there, like I'll usually, camo wise, I love what Shields has with their veil lineup. I really like that for spring turkey hunting. Or either that, I'll run some neutral colors, between greens and browns. Otherwise, like I love muddy bottomland. That's awesome color. Or I shouldn't say muddy. It's muddy's come out with them now, but mossy oak bottomland. Love that color pattern. Yep. And then kind of going back to what you said about boots, it just all depends on the hunt. Like if I'm hunting farm ground, ain't gonna walk too far, it's muddy out, definitely gonna be wearing a pair of mucks or dry shots or whatever it is. And if I'm out in the hills or if I know I'm gonna be putting on a ton of miles that day, definitely gonna be rocking a pair of hiking boots. Other big things. Toilet paper, that's a huge one. I always keep extra toilet paper or like wet wipes, I should say. We got kids, so it's kind of nice to have unlimited access to wet wipes, but usually keep those in my pack. And it depends on what I'm rocking with. If I'm going with a bow or a gun, I'll usually keep some extra tools if I'm bow hunting in my pack, because I do the same thing for when I'm out in the fall. But gun hunting, usually don't bring the extra tools for that because it's pretty straightforward and I haven't really had any issues. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty typical. I mean, it seems like a lot. And that I'm a gear hoarder and I always have too much than I need to bring. But I'd rather be in a situation knowing that I've got everything that I need to get the job done rather than not have it.
Yep. Yeah, it's one of those things, better to have it, not need it, than need it, not have it. So yeah, I feel like every time we start talking about turkeys, it's like I look at the calendar and it's still only end of February.
It's ticking down. It's funny because you kind of go through it, and the more we've done a lot of turkey stuff now, and it's just like you think that it's like, God, it feels like it's like end of March. It's like, well, it's February 27th.
Yeah, still got a month and a half left here in Minnesota. I know a couple other states are kicking off here next week already. So, if you're out in the woods, best of luck. Stay safe. Send us some pics. We'd love to see what you guys are doing out in the field. And, I think, it's going to be a fun year, here. I know you and I both are going to be out as much as we can and trying to get other people out involved. I'd like to, and I talked about on the last one, trying to get my dad out, try and get my wife out. And then, talk about maybe going over to Wisconsin on the other side of the river with Sam and see what happens. So,
oh man, it's gonna be a fun season. I'm just ready for it to kick off and for it already to be here. But it is kind of fun when we get to do episodes like this and meeting with guests, like and meeting with Shane and Sam and a couple other people, and we've got some other really cool people coming up too. But it just gets you fired up and gives you some different perspective and new things that you want to try for this year. And it could be turkey season. I'm ready for it to finally kick off.
Oh, for sure. Yep. Yeah. It's like I said, it's kind of like that hurry up and wait stage now. All we've done is talk about turkeys for the last couple of weeks, and it's like, oh, I still got a month and a half to go.
Still got time. But yeah, no, we would love to hear from you guys. Like, what do you guys have in your turkey kit that's a must have, or, those little trinket items that, get unforgotten that, sometimes you leave in the back of your bag that you always bring with you, but you might not use it all the time. We'd love to hear from that. And like Luke said, good luck to everybody that's kicking off their turkey season here in the next couple of weeks, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through faith in the great outdoors. We hope today's episode has inspired you to seek God's presence in the wilderness and deepen your connection with nature. If you enjoyed today's discussion, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Wild Faith Podcast on your favorite platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode, and you'll continue to be a part of the Wild Faith Podcast community. We'd also love to hear from our listeners, so please don't hesitate to reach out with your questions, comments, or topic suggestions. You can connect with us on social media or through our website. Your feedback is important to us and helps us improve and tailor our content to better serve you. And always remember, the great outdoors isn't just a playground for hunting and fishing. It's a sanctuary for finding solace and spiritual renewal. As you gear up for that next adventure, I pray you find God's presence in the crackling of a campfire, the thrill of reeling in your catch, or the quiet solitude found in nature. Until next time, thank you for listening to the Wild Faith Podcast. Take care, and God bless.